Stool is such a good idea. Oh boy. Okay. Can you hear me okay? All right. So, thank you, Jesse, for letting the Trojan horse in and agreeing to this wonderfully bad idea. I had this idea about a year ago because I was just frustrated and weirded out that my family watched the Benny Hill Show at dinner time on PBS for years when I was an adolescent. Dinner and Benny Hill don't go together. I would argue nothing in Benny Hill goes together quite wonderfully. And so I tried to imagine, okay, what from around that same era in my life might make it better? And the only appropriate answer was Ace Frehley. So thank you for not only giving me the shot, but giving all the readers a shot and sort of letting the Drunken Odyssey come forward. So thank you. Also, Sean Whittington is here in the house tonight. He is the Drunken Odyssey's intern, and for the last 6 months, he has really saved my ass so many times. I probably couldn't have written this horrible thing you're about to hear if he wasn't taking a lot of the burden of the behind-the-scenes work. So please give him a big round of applause. Okay, so does anyone not know what Benny Hill is? I guess I should have said who, but it seems like more of a what. The early 1980s, the nadir of British comedy, truly. Benny Hill, this glittering machinery of meat, this spewer of wit of the lowest brow, had persevered aloft the airwaves of the British Broadcasting Corporation for more than a decade. PBS would import the stuff into the United States for no discernible reason, unless it was perhaps to verify the end of the British Empire, to gloat in American independence more than 2 centuries after the fact. And yet, endurance itself inevitably becomes compelling. King George, if he were a vampire surviving, so to speak, to the present day, would laugh his wig and tits off at this program. The lad's bulging eyes and surreptitious smirk seemed to push Monty Python's intellectualism into outer space. The Benny Hill Show, with its laugh track, was indomitable and needed no audience to complete it. The show was perfect, priming itself for eternity. Syndication can create gods. On the set, Bettina London was warming up on the bar, her pink leotard thin to a microscopic suggestion between her legs. Her ruffled skirt was so gauzy and short that it was really more the idea of clothes than clothes. Her face was close to the mirror. The pink and peachy accents of cosmetics rendered her eyes and cheekbones into something resembling a rich dessert. Her auburn hair feathered over her shoulders. She hooked her heel over the bar and stretched her hamstring, calf, thigh, torso, and arm, reaching over to her toes. She worked the other side in the identical way, the symmetry her flesh would serve. Today's routine was another disco number, a way to launch burlesque once more into the not quite present. Mr. Hill was a good boss, as gigs went, if his heart was back in the 1950s. The pay was decent for modest professional effort. The spectacle was fun and not too undignified. The dance Bettina would perform today, a cruise ship number, was meant, like every Hill's Angels routine, to excite something adolescent in men, to titillate that first synaptic sexual jolt from the psyche, and then, rather than prolong or satisfy it, instead they would interrupt the impulse, to resume a more modest pose, to switch to a joke, to switch to another girl, who would pose innocently enough, and then there, her legs spread. The next girl jumping, her breast hopping, and then, innocent enough again. That first synaptic jolt from the psyche, triggered in perpetuity. Mr. Hill was on the set, smiling. He was not his persona. He was a professional. He cared only about the product, and he respected his Hills Angels as women. The leering was only on camera, always followed with some immediate karmic retribution for his persona's everyman's lust. Bettina had been a Hills Angel for 7 years. Now 30, she didn't mind this detour into adolescence a few times a year. Men looked at her in this way. She could toy with the way they stare at her, let them absorb their own futility. But surrounded by the other Hills Angels who were coming off the bar, who were done stretching their bodies, who had toweled off every indication of sweat, Bettina almost stopped existing. It was as if God was over-cranking the antique film of the universe, slowing their bodies down. A blink lasted several seconds. Bettina tried to turn her head, which made her feel paralyzed, her neck infinitesimally shifting, like a cloud that might or might not be moving overhead. A silvery zigzag ripped into the sky. 2 jagged shrouds, and Ace Frehley surfed down from the darkening firmament, his mercury boots gripping the frets of his V-shaped guitar. Behind this motion, motes glittered before they expanded over the horizon in constellations of vibrating stars. Silver shoulder pads glimmered geometrically across his shoulders and wrapped their ribbed Mobius fabric around his lanky torso. Silhouettes of stars surrounded his eyes. The guitarist glided over deck, before Bettina, who could feel gravity pull on her fingertips and tug at her skin all over her body. The musician hopped down, his silver platform boots plomping down confidently into the wooden deck. Suddenly, everyone existed once more, 1 second per second on the clock. "This is a closed set," screamed Benny. "On the open water?" Ace Frehley asked. "This is a soundstage, you idiot," Benny said, frowning at a seagull dropping a white splat before his loafers. Bettina could feel the waves beneath her ballet flats. Despite the size of the craft, they seemed to be zooming across choppy water. "What's going on?" Benny demanded. "I'm writing a rad new song," Ace said. "Here." "Is there anywhere else, dude?" The SS Nadir tilted to starboard. As Benny tumbled across the off-kilter deck, he could see the waves agitated by sharp fins. His hands reached out for any tether, his fingers happening upon the garments of his angels, with whom he collided like a pinball, and implausibly, each contact ripped the outfits from their bodies until at last, Bettina's skirt came off miraculously intact, taking the leotard with it. The Nadir's keel regained its equilibrium. Benny Hill, his round face red, held their wardrobe. He stuttered, and Benny ran. Like possessed maenads, the Hills Angels nakedly chased him. Ace Frehley's new song sank like 1,000 shooting stars. He raced after them and picked yakety sax on his strings, the notes charging forth to clothe the women in a raiment of frenetic tablatures. Benny Hill zoomed into the galley, accidentally shoving the baker into a 10-tiered cake which exploded upon impact. The sous chef, smeared with frosting, pulled a cleaver and gave chase close behind the dancers and the cosmic rock star. A cabin door opens and David Foster Wallace is surrounded by a typhoon of cartoonish pursuit, and by the time these combatants had circled him 20 times in 5 seconds and departed, he had a minor case of whiplash and would not be able to get yakety sax out of his mind for 8 years. The smear of human figures swooped its way, this and that, until it reached the bridge where they collided with ship captain Sven Hammersvall. Benny Hill snagged the ship's wheel and trying to turn towards the deck, and he ran into the sunlight, the giant wheel in one outstretched arm, the wardrobe of the Hills Angels on the other. Time slowed down as Benny reached the foredeck, cornered, with the Angels, Ace Frehley, the sous chef, and Captain Hammersvall hyperventilating in a constricting circle. They blinked at one another, unable to move, the notes of Ace Frehley's guitar elongating and warping and sounding like the music of demonic spheres. And then time caught up once more as the SS Nadir collided onto land, scattering them across the wilds. "So sorry," Benny Hill said, averting his eyes as he approached each angel and handed her the appropriate costume. He was, after all, a professional. Slowly, the performers reclothed themselves. Ace Frehley tuned his guitar. The captain and the sous chef were nowhere to be found. "Okay, let's get back on deck and try again," Benny said. "The show must go on." "Go on? The show must not," wheezed Yoda, who rode in on a unicorn. The beast impaled the back of Benny Hill's white trousers. The comedian's eyes bulged 4 inches and he began to weep. "Dude," said Ace Frehley. As each tear fell onto the earth, it transformed into a tadpole with a flagellum that fanned out into a tiny multicolored horse's tail. The tadpole's torso elongated into equestrian anatomy. Soon there were various inch-high horses underfoot. "Boss," said Bettina. Yoda yanked the reins. As the unicorn withdrew itself from the comedian's quivering body, the creature's horn seemed to explode in a prismatic flower, then stayed stuck to the man as a tail. Benny Hill's face turned pink and began its own torturous metamorphosis, a spike emerging from his forehead. He couldn't help but smirk as he became equine. Shock me, the little horses whinnied. More colorful unicorns clomped in. They did not heed the miniature clamoring horses squishing beneath their hooves. Ace Frehley could not recognize which unicorn had once been Benny Hill. The whinnying was excruciating. Yoda hopped and swirled his little reptilian arms and doused the horses and the guitarist and dancers in the pine trees with the ectoplasm of the Force until the entire forest was covered in a crystalline ichor. "This is not how I want to die," screamed Bettina, who felt her body going numb. Ace Frehley concentrated, managed a tritone, and the guitar screamed with a spark of rock and roll, dissolving the metaphysical web spun by the Jedi Master. The elements of the air warred with themselves, this explosion of existence. Ace Frehley began his song. Then the monkeys, shriveled with rickets, crawled out of the trees. As one, they put their Necronomicons down and started to dance. Thank you.